Thank you for the introduction, Jason. I appreciate that, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to present the functional overview of the Shipwell TMS with the goal of trying to highlight some of the critical capabilities within the TMS. For today's demo, I'll start with a solution overview. I'll start by introducing you to the Shipments dashboard. This is where users land when they log into the TMS, and it's embedded with a lot of rich functionality, but at the same time, it's a purpose designed application really designed around ease of use with the goal of reducing the administrative overhead of onboarding new users. I'll touch on doc scheduling, the automated workflows, calendars, and drag and drop features and functionality that's available for users. Users can go in and set up facilities, and within those facilities define certain rules around docs and appointments in the workflows. I'll also touch on our Compass dashboard, which is our visibility platform. This is where users can go in and handle exceptions. I'll touch on planning and optimization from an advanced planning and optimization perspective and some of the automation and workflow that's associated with that. I'll get into pricing intelligence, but really one of the things that I like to highlight before we get into it is that pricing intelligence is really embedded into the application. So you'll see it when I go through the solution overview and I look at the shipments dashboard and some of the planning functionality that's there from an auction perspective. I'll touch on settlement. So the TMS is really, again, a purpose-built application really designed to handle everything from order to cash. And in addition to that, pricing intelligence is also a tool that's leveraged by procurement. So I'll touch on how you can use the TMS to go out to RFP and the RFP automation that's built into the platform for you. One of the things that I think is critical is the ability to have your supply chain on the go, so anytime, anywhere, and our mobile application, which is available for both Android and Apple. It really helps to extend the TMS because now, no matter where you are, you have access to the TMS, and not just access to the TMS, but supply chain orchestration, the ability to handle exceptions, build loads, and also to tender directly from your phone or iPad or tablet. And then lastly, reporting and analytics. One of the things that's key is having good data. We source data from multiple, or we receive data from multiple sources. We take all of that data, we aggregate it together, normalize it, and then allow you to leverage that data from within the TMS. But we also use that data for business intelligence and push that out as reporting and analytics to you. We'll touch on that and then we'll close out. I appreciate it again. So starting with the solution overview. This is the landing page. This is the shipments dashboard. One of the things about this is it's role-based access control. So based on user permissions, we'll define which users have access to which of the menu items within the TMS. Once the users are provisioned, one of the things that I like is the ability for them to go in and personalize the experience, meaning that they can go in and create their own filters. What do they want to see? What's important to them? So whether I'm a CSR or I'm a planner or I'm in finance, I can go in and set up my own view of the world, which means that I can have just a single view, single warehouse. Maybe it's a geography or a region that I'm responsible for, or maybe I'm looking to filter based on mode or status, or even using these little colored pills here at the bottom, which are referred to as data tags. So multiple ways in which I can filter the data to see shipments that are important to me. Again, these columns are also configurable, so I can drag columns from left to right. Very simple, very easy. I'm in the TMS now. I'm logged in as Larry. Because I'm logged in as Larry, I have access to all of these different menu items. One of the things that I like to call out as well is that from an exceptions perspective, the TMS can provide notifications or alerts from the little bell. It can also text you, so it can send an SMS text message for an alert. It can also email you alerts and notifications. And as I was mentioning, part of our 3-in-1 platform includes our Compass, our control tower, and I'll touch on how you can also view and handle exceptions from within Compass. So as I mentioned, I've gone in and I've got these basic workflows. I've got some level 3, level 4 information that's available in different modes, and I've got these all highlighted and filtered based on my preference. And again, the ability to drag and drop or turn on or turn off different filters based on different saved searches is important, because if I'm looking at LTL shipments, I might want to see things like a pro number. If I'm looking at things like inbound containers from a multimodal or from an international perspective, I'm going to want to see container IDs or bill of lading, etc. Again, what's really nice here is that I'm logged in. I've got my shipments all filtered. I can see carrier related information. I can see all of my different data tags. I can drill into the shipment. I can see status, where it's getting picked up, where it's getting delivered. Modal information is available to me. And on the right hand side, I also have these prescriptive or predictive ETAs, so the ability for the TMS to determine if the shipment is at risk of being late, if it's late, or if it's on time, and to be able to see that information very quickly and very easily with just the nice hover over. One of the other things that's nice here as well is that I could drill into the shipment to see the shipment details. On the left hand side includes all the carrier information or customer reference information, things like general ledger code, PO number, bill of lading number, general cargo information, project ID, multiple custom data fields available from a flex field perspective to identify and reference shipment information. Bottom left, equipment details, who's picking up, who's delivering it, all the information around it. On the right hand side, actions, so the ability to take actions, things like share my tracking externally with my customers, the ability to generate the bill of lading, the ability to create the rate confirmation, pallet labels or shipping labels, the ability to direct tender to a carrier, the ability to go and request bids from carriers, the ability to push to a routing guide. And when we think about routing guides and routing intelligence includes the ability to broadcast tenders, so multiple carriers receiving the broadcast tender first to accept gets the load, the ability to do the traditional sequential waterfall tendering, primary, secondary, tertiary, and also the ability to push a routing guide that includes carriers with email acceptance. So the ability for us to integrate with your large national carriers as well as the small mom and pops, fully available to you from a routing perspective and from a route guide intelligence perspective. You can also do things like clone a shipment as a quote, so I need to get a quote, push it to a load board, or clone it as a shipment for a repeat lane as well. Actions also include messages, so the ability to message out to your carrier, to your drivers, the ability to store and hold all the documentation against this particular shipment, and also notes, internal notes about a shipment as well can be captured at this level. Workflows refer to the automation, so when shipments are created, we can automatically apply a workflow, which means that we can automatically route it to a carrier based again on either a sequential or broadcast tender. Bids, so the ability to do bidding, see information to establish a max buy, a low book now price, etc. Rating information, so the ability to pull back instant rates. Tracking, so once a carrier has accepted the tender and they've dispatched their carrier to the pick location, all the different events and statuses are captured through integration. Our integration is also quite extensible. Integrations through the mobile app, integrations through ELD, integration through carrier direct EDI 214 status messages, updates from the check calls, automated voice recognition, resolving an updated ETA, as well as carriers logging into the portal provide status and updates. This of course all flows into the financials, so once a carrier is assigned, it establishes the finance or the financials associated with it. This can also include the ability for customers to mark up or mark down freight as well. And one of the things that's nice is this is also considered our benchmark, our estimate, our audit quality tender, and we'll use that when we go through that order to cash when we talk about settlement. Okay, so that's just sort of that basic workflow of a shipment that's in flight. I'll take a few minutes here just to touch on a shipment from the perspective of a quote perspective. So I've got something that I'm quoting. I want to go out, get some rates on this. This happens to be something moving from a warehouse, delivering out to a customer, Tartine Bakery in San Francisco. What I need is an LTL carrier to cover this load. I can now go into this rating. If I want to grab these rates, these are going to be my instant rates. So API integrated rating and tracking. The ability to view the rate, which is inclusive of not just the rate, the base rate, but also any and all known accessorials. Again, establishing that audit quality tender, something that we can audit against. If I hit select, I'm doing basically a direct tender to the carrier. The carrier can now accept that tender status, the loads, and eventually, once the load has been delivered, invoice me for that. And then, as I mentioned, all of that will feed back into the tracking and feed back into the financials. Really, from a level 3, level 4, or level 5 perspective, when we start to think about international origination or international termination, the ability to handle imports or exports, or to actually handle geographies outside the United States. This example with my broker or my freight forwarder originating in Kaohsiung in Taiwan, delivering into the port of Long Beach. This is a dray move. It's a 20-foot container. If I drill into this shipment, you'll see some of the similar information, but now I have things like my carrier SCAC, my container ID, my bill of lading information, the carrier that's been assigned to it. It's also pulling back and providing information around the estimated container arrival date, the container release date, my last free date, and ultimately the ability to record and log the container return date. Again, picking up from Kaohsiung in Taiwan, it's got an estimated pickup date and it's got an estimated delivery date as it delivers into Long Beach. It's retail merchandise. I've got all the details around that as well. And then the same thing is true, is that all of that tracking is going to come back through our integration with OpenTrack. So full vessel AIS as well as port level visibility on that shipment. That also includes the ability for us to pull in rail data, true rail, intermodal, as well as the ability to plot all of that on the map for you as well. One of the other things that I like to highlight here is when you think about something like a multi-mode shipment where it's drayage, the drayage may actually include multiple stages or multiple legs with that. So from the perspective of a multi-stage or multimodal event, I have my first leg that's getting created. This could have its own parties associated, its own financials associated with it. Again, this lane is that first leg from Kaohsiung into Long Beach. From the container, it's getting transloaded, it's getting put into a dry van, hauled from Long Beach into our warehouse in San Rafael, where it's then broken down and delivered out to our customers via, in this case, LTL. In this case, it's going from the warehouse in San Rafael down to Daly City. And again, I can come in here and add additional stages, legs around this. Stages can have a financial or it can be a movement. And again, this allows us the ability to have a fully stitched, fully integrated with a landed cost of all the different legs and modes associated with this particular journey or itinerary. And again, multi-leg, multi-stage, multi-mode, with each party being able to be invoiced separately, and the ability to tender each stage to a different carrier based on mode as well. Okay, so that's sort of that level 3, level 4, level 5, international origination, full visibility for the shipment on the water. Once it hits the port, the ability to either A, have that be a port to door-to-door, port-to-port, or port-to-door, or the ability for me to go down and manage that pickup, get it delivered to the warehouse, and then ultimately out to my customer. And again, the ability to view all of that from a stage perspective from within the TMS. One more thing that I think is just worth calling out, worth talking about, is that we also have the ability to receive flags. So the ability to have flags around a geofence event when a carrier arrives or when they depart. Updates from the ELD alerting us to the status, meaning creating an update to the ETA based on the current location. All of that, again, right here from this one page, all of this I have the ability to view, interact, and transact with. I also have these action buttons. I could put a shipment on a watch list, put it into my Compass dashboard if it's a hot load, high priority customer, message directly out to my carriers and be able to receive and update statuses, the ability to record internal notes, the ability to update my contacts as to the status. So different contacts at different locations, I can update them. I could also have the TMS automatically provide a status and update based on a predefined status. For example, booked, change and update, delay or it's been delivered, have the TMS automatically do that. I can also see that represented here under the actions as this external link. So the ability to share this customer branded experience where they can go in and see exactly where their shipment is in that delivery life cycle. So has it been picked up? What's the estimated date or time of arrival? All the information about it, where it's delivering to, and again, is it in transit? Has it been delivered? Is it been dispatched, etc. All of that very quickly and easily available to a shipper right from the home page or from the Shipments dashboard. You can see I can do a lot from the Shipments dashboard, a lot of features and functions that I mentioned that are available to me. Again, I could also do things like import shipments, so the ability for us to take in a flat file and to really accelerate the ROI through a flat file integration for shipments. Same is true for orders. I can also do things like bulk actions, so I can come in and do a bulk select and maybe send a email of the bill of lading to my contacts. Maybe I want to select all these shipments and just bulk route them or direct tender them to a carrier, etc. Could do all that through the bulk actions. Okay, one of the last things on this page that I just wanted to highlight is also the parcel integrated workflow as well. So, we think about LTL, the ability to use LTL, instant rating, full truckload with the pricing intel built into the workflow, pricing intelligence built into the workflow. From a parcel perspective, fully available from an integration perspective, meaning I can do an integrated rate request. I can come in here, put in customer packaging. I've got my details where I'm picking up, where I'm delivering to. So not a lot of information required. And then from here, I can say, yep, go get quotes. This provides me the ability to really rate shop against a single carrier, against different service levels, or to rate shop against multiple carriers. So the example that I have is FedEx. I can see all of my FedEx options and I can determine whether I want to ship based on time in transit or based on rate, allowing me that best shipping option. I could also look to see what my rates would be with UPS or the United States Postal Service, and then from here allow my users to then select. And when they select, they could also select, create the label, as well as schedule the pickup if they don't have a daily pickup schedule for their facility. So fully integrated, and again, the ability to take that label, put it on the package, and even give it to a driver or hand it off at a drop-off location. So I think we touched on most of these, but again, from an intermodal perspective, the ability to track the containers while on rail, full true rail integration, the ability to pull back information around CLMs, the ability to have international origination or termination, the ability to have a basic workflow for over the road for full truckload or for LTL, the integrated quoting for LTL with instant rating, and then also the parcel workflow. All right, so that's the Shipments dashboard. It's one of my favorites. It's the all-in-one single pane of glass where you can view all of your shipments. And again, not only can you view the shipments, but you can click on the card, you can see information about it, and then also action against it. Okay, a couple things around dock scheduling. So once we start to create some automation, we have shipments that are getting planned, shipments that are getting booked. I now want to be able to schedule the appointments for my pickups or for my deliveries. This can include carrier pickups. It can also include CPUs or customer pickups as well. In order to do that, I need to set up my facility. So we have the ability for users to go in and create facilities. When they create the facilities, they can also define how many dock stores and bays they have, what the capacity of each of those dock stores and bays are in terms of how many picks or how many drops can they support on a given day. With that, they can also define their operating hours. So think about it as front of the house, back of the house. The front of the house is open from 9 to 5. We do receiving and shipping from 7 to 3. So having that bifurcation is supported from a facility perspective. Also the ability to do things like upload a facility map. So either using satellite image of the facility or to upload their map so that when they notify a driver that they need to go to dock door 1, 2, or 3, driver could look at the map and very easily go to that location to begin their load or unload process. We also have rules around docks and doors as well, the ability to set up a dock as just a shipping or just a receiving dock, or commodity-based rules around different docks and doors. All of that is part of the setup and configuration. Of course, once everything is set up, we have carrier and shipper portals where they can email, see shipment details and or appointments. They can view and search their appointments that have been scheduled. They can also see what times are available for them to schedule an appointment, and from there be able to then just book the appointment directly. We could also do automated dock assignments. So based on carrier, based on commodity, we can automatically assign a carrier to a dock as well. And it also facilitates communication from both the shipper, carrier, and customer perspective through appointment confirmations, cancellations, and reminder alerts. What's nice is that once we start transacting from within the TMS, we have the workflows around our appointments set up. It all flows into our calendar. Our calendar, very Google-like behavior, drag and drop appointments. I need you to go to dock number 3 instead of dock number 2. I don't need to cancel, reschedule. I just basically drag and drop it. It'll automatically update and alert the driver. Driver, again, can receive a text message, be alerted to the change via our mobile workflow. And as I mentioned, drivers can also have automation around check-in and check-out. We can use geofencing to automatically have an arrival or automatically have a departure based on a breach of that geofence. You can also share, meaning that you can export the calendar, share this, share it down with the dock workers, the ability to view and share. Also the ability to do things around unscheduled appointments, so the ability to create an ad hoc appointment for somebody that's arriving without an appointment, and also dashboards and scorecards. So when we think about reporting and analytics, it all ties back from a dock scheduling perspective to see what is our facility utilization, what are our dwell times, what are the detention fees, etc., at our different locations. And also when you think about a check-in and a check-out or gate in, gate out process, there are times when a driver may arrive and we need to reject the trailer. The trailer is damaged, has a foul odor. We can create reason codes or rejection codes to really streamline the process. So think about your dock workers on the forklift with their iPad, or the dock workers with their mobile device being able to check in a driver, but also to reject a driver's trailer, etc. as well. And what does it look like on the calendar? This is really the workflow. So again, I can have different docks, different colors, different highlights. I got dock 1, 2, 3, and 4. With that, I can also do things like schedule, like as I mentioned, the ad hoc appointment. What's really nice is I can also see different load types, so I can view those and filter that. This is an appointment where a driver's arrived, so I can check them in. Yep, this is the time you've arrived. The mobile integrated workflow, as I mentioned, go to dock 3, the facility map. I could begin the load and unload process, and when they're complete, I can check them out. I can now save that. I can also send them an alert letting them know that, hey, the door has been closed and sealed, your load is complete, the bill of lading has been delivered to you electronically, and it would be available to them on their mobile device. Let's see. Visibility. I mentioned visibility and the compass as part of our 3-in-1 platform. The 3 aspects of the platform is really control tower, compass. It's the TMS. It's that basic blocking and tackling, as well as the advanced capabilities for international origination and termination. From a visibility perspective, compass, the TMS, plus your integrated carrier, supplier, and customer network make up the 3-in-1 aspect of the TMS. The compass dashboard is configurable, so similar to shipment, similar to what you'll see for orders, similar to what you'll see for settlement, the ability for users to go in and personalize their view. In this case, I've got these 2 tiles that are highlighted. These are alerts. I've got one where the carrier is not assigned. This can be where I had a routing guide. My primary, secondary carriers rejected the tender, so now I've got to get a load covered. It's unassigned. I can also have a shipment that's, for example, late for pickup, and I can drill into that individual shipment card. When I drill into the card, I can see where it's picking up, where it's delivering to. Once the carrier picks up, in this case, carriers confirmed we've got an appointment. Once the carrier picks up, that GPS, that track and trace, will be able to see that carrier as they make their way through that delivery route. This is the predicted route. And then, of course, once they deliver, then this comes off of my view. We also have traffic and weather that's built into Compass. So Traffic and weather is there for you to see if that might have an impact on your carrier's ability to perform or to deliver a load. What's nice is that it's also built into the machine learning algorithm. So when we talk about predictive ETAs, it's not just looking at where it's picked up, where it's delivering to, how many miles yet to travel, average rate of speed, but also other considerations like weather and traffic when it creates that predictive ETA. What's nice is if you take a look here inside of my Compass dashboard view, I've got different tiles that are basically configured or set up. Again, different ways to look at the shipments that are in flux, shipments from international. I can look at my domestic shipments. All of these dots on a map give me the ability to drill into that individual shipment. Where is it picking up? Where is it delivering to? All of the information. Also the ability to assign this particular shipment to one of my internal users. Again, the idea here is to be able to prioritize these exceptions, manage those, and really elevate the customer experience. What's nice is that you can also see a few things, right? Running late. So the idea here is that a carrier is being flagged as running late or at risk of being late. And then we can also flag and let you know that they're actually late. In most cases, the predictive ETA will alert you to a shipment that's running late or is late even before your carrier alerts you. And we also have the ability to do things like flag shipments that are in detention. The same idea. If a shipment is being detained, it's going to have a cost that's being incurred. So the ability to prioritize that trailer, that load, to get it either loaded or unloaded, and to get the driver off and out of the facility. Also, the same idea around running late or at risk of late, something that may be at risk of going into detention. So flagging it and alerting you and creating an exception before it even hits detention to help you to abate the cost altogether. And again, the idea of these different actions coming through, the ability to update my contacts at a pick or drop location, the ability to view documentation, the ability to put eyes on a load, to take it on or take it off of my watch list, and then also the ability for me to record internal notes as well as to message out to my carrier as well. All right, so that's the Compass dashboard, the exception management, the view of all the shipments that have been flagged or tripped. We can also do carrier type of alerts. So if we have carriers where their insurance is expiring or is going to expire, we can also flag that, allow you to handle that and manage that as well. So both shipment as well as carrier level type exception management on the Compass dashboard. All right, we've touched a little bit about transportation management in terms of how the TMS can go in and from the shipments dashboard apply automation. So as soon as the shipment is created, automatically route that to my carrier based on workflow. We also have the ability to take orders and to plan orders into loads or into shipments and then to execute those. And from an order perspective, I like to think about load optimization. Oftentimes this is a crawl, walk, run approach, but we've got a really simple, easy to use optimization feature that's embedded into the TMS for users. It's purpose designed for that ease of use as well, and allows users to not only do the consolidation, build the load plans, but then to go in and view and interact with those load plans. They also receive a lot of instant benefits, the ability to reduce the planner's load time, creating greater internal efficiencies, the ability to compare the optimized cost to the baseline to see best course of action, instant cost analysis when making changes to the load plan. So if I go in and I view the load plan and I want to edit it, meaning I want to remove an order or add additional orders, it'll automatically update and recalculate my savings and baseline based on the updated optimized determination. And also just the ability to save upwards of 40% on all miles driven while keeping all constraints for pickups and delivery timeframes. Inside the TMS is our orders dashboard, and it's on the orders dashboard where I can go in and start to do individual selection and bulk actions. So the idea here that I can go in and multi-select and again bulk action, create shipments or create quotes, push things to the load board, build my own manual consolidations. The idea around shipments and filters also applies to orders, so the ability to go in and filter my orders. Once I've selected those and I determine that I want to do an optimization, we have the optimization constraints. The optimization constraints control how the model basically builds the multi-stop truckload plans. So being able to put constraints around, for example, the weight or pallet count on that particular load. How many stops do we want to allow the driver to make? Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4? And then the ability to also consider your own private fleet. So the idea of having dedicated or private fleet as part of the optimization and planning process. And then what is the optimization method? Do you want to do optimization based on cost, or do you want to do optimization based on distance? Both of those are able to be taken into consideration when building your consolidation or your optimization. Here again, I've got some filters in place. So I've gone in, I've created my own filters. These are the orders that I'm working on. These are the ones that I need to go in and optimize. I can, as I mentioned, go in and I can individually select these, and I can build that into a shipment. I can build it into a quote, send it to a load board, out to my private load board, or I can come in and optimize. What I like to do is just come in here and grab all of my orders. So in this case, I've selected 25 orders. I'm going to go in and I'm going to optimize. I could have different optimization profiles. So I could have a 1-stop, a 2-stop, or a 3-stop, or different optimizations based on different geographies. So a lot of flexibility in terms of how we apply that. And I'm just going to call this op plan 1. And I'm going to go ahead and optimize. As I mentioned, what it's doing is it's taking a look at each of those 25 orders and it's doing a calculation. It's going to go out, it's going to grab the rates. So what is the cost if I ran the order as a LTL? It's going to benchmark the LTL rate. What if I ran that same order but it was a full truckload? What would the cost be? It's going to take the least of the two costs and it's going to use that to establish my baseline. My baseline is the cost of what would it be if I ran all of the orders 1-to-1. After it's established the baseline, it's going to come back and give me my optimized cost. So by taking the 25 orders and building those into a full truck, or a full truck plus some LTL, in this case 8 full trucks and 1 LTL, my optimized cost is now $36,534.04, which provides me an estimated savings of $75,000. And again, I can look at this and see all the information around it. Here are the 25 orders that went into the consolidation into the optimization plan. Here's the load plan that was created from the optimization. So the ability to view the load plan, where is it picking up, where is it delivering to, what's the weight, pallet, and miles for each of the individual loads that have been created. I could also drill in. I can see here that I've got some 1-pick, 1-drops, and I also have some 1-pick multi-drop. And if I drill into this, this is where I was mentioning the ability for a planner to go in and look at the load to see if it makes sense. After I optimize, is this going to work? Would I run a 22.8 with a 22.19? I may not. But from here, I can quickly go in and remove an order. So take an order off of the load plan. I can also come in here and add orders. So if I wanted to do a top off or take a look at this and consolidate or add additional loads or orders to this, I can. If everything looks great and it's a happy path, from here I can create the shipment. Remember, automation, the ability to create the workflow, automatically create the shipment, apply the routing guide, execute the load, then wait for that to go back into Compass if there were an exception, but really eliminating a lot of the work, keystroking, and time for planners to rate, shop, and execute loads. Very few clicks. I selected all, I optimized, I picked my constraints, ran the optimization, created the load plan, and then started to execute. I could also come in here and select all of these at once, do again a bulk action, and then have all of the shipments created based on the load plan and optimization. You can see it's going through, it's building loads 2, 4, 5, 8, 1, and 7. They've all now been created. I've got this 1 LTL that I kicked out of the kicked out of the build. I've got 1 order. I'll put that back into the queue. When some additional orders drop, I can then go back, rerun optimization, and then get that out to the customer. That's the optimization. That's the process for going in and building loads. Again, orders are coming in through integration. So I have new orders that are coming in addition to the one that was left over. From here, I can come in, I can build a full truckload, or I can re-optimize and make this just one continuous process. That's our load optimization. Again, designed to be easy. designed to create efficiency and also provides a lot of reporting from a metrics perspective. So from a sustainability, what was our greenhouse gas emissions? How many metric tons of CO2 did we save? What was the optimization from a mileage perspective? How many orders went into optimization? What's our percentage of optimization? What's our optimized cost compared to our baseline? How many loads were approved through optimization once the loads were built? Okay, so from here, I want to just give a few highlights. Automated workflows, automated shipment building. So if a shipment comes in, it's 14 pallets, it's 38,000 pounds, automatically apply a routing guide, execute that shipment. No use for the planner to go in and touch it. Different optimization profiles with those configurable strengths, allowing for what if planning. What if it was 2 stops? What if it was 3 or 4? What if I were to add a different order type to this particular load? What does that look like? And then from there, being able to make the determination to plan and then route that. And again, my favorite all-in-one, that single pane of glass, the shipment dashboard for viewing all the shipments that are in flight. Okay, a little bit about pricing and pricing intelligence. So I mentioned pricing intelligence embedded within the application, embedded into the workflow for you to procure freight from the spot market based on market intelligence or the Shipwell composite. What's nice is that the tool is also available as a standalone, so the ability for you to go out and get rate information on just a particular lane, whether this is done from within the application or if this is done through integration, fully supported. It's providing me both a predicted price for today as well as a predicted or forecasted price for the next 2 weeks. One of the things that you can also see here for transparency and as a call out is this confidence. So very high, high, medium, or low. That's based on the density of data on that particular lane. The more data we have, or the denser the lane data, the higher the confidence. And if I come back into my TMS and I click on pricing intelligence, what I can see here is that it supports full truckload for dry van, reefer, and flatbed. I can have a zip to zip prediction. I could also cast a radius around a particular zip, and it's giving me a predicted price. In this case, it's medium. It can predict today's price as well as the forecasted price over the next 2 weeks. We're somewhere around 5%, 5 to 10% in our predicted price to the actualized invoiced amount that comes in. So extremely accurate in terms of our price prediction. Also includes a Shipwell composite, the ability to view price fluctuations over time. And then also some of the information in terms of the trends around that Shipwell market composite for that particular lane, weekly trends, holiday trends, and then also historical lane data. So as I mentioned, the ability to both pull the Shipwell composite as well as to combine transacted data from within the TMS for you as well. So that's the pricing intelligence tool. What's nice is it really leads into some of the aspects from a reporting and analytics perspective, knowing what the cost is on the lane, what my actual cost is on those lanes, being able to do a comparison really starts to bring into the idea, around procurement and how can I use this for procurement. So that is also one of the things that we'll touch on here in just a minute. So again, from an order to cash perspective, we're able to bring in shipments and orders. We're able to plan and route those. Once they're planned and routed, we can receive statuses and updates against those particular shipments and feed that back into the TMS for alerts and exception management. Once the load has been delivered and it's closed, at that point, it allows us to go in and do the settlement. This is the freight pay and audit. From a Shipwell perspective, we refer to this as first pass match. What it looks like is a page very similar to what you were seeing for orders, similar to what you saw for shipments, with the same ability to do filtering. So the ability to go in and filter the shipments based on what you're looking for from a settlement perspective, the ability to view the different statuses of those shipments that you're settling, and then to really go in and interact with them as well. So again, the idea here is that, what was the invoiced amount? What was the expected amount? Do we have all the documentation we need in order to settle it? Which loads are we paying? Who are we transacting or remitting to? The ability to view all the documentation associated with settlement. If we don't have an invoice, what do? We can do an auto match, so allowing us to really go in and quickly generate the invoice on behalf of the carrier. So that's the settlement piece. As I was mentioning, really it's designed around creating operational efficiency for you. And that leads to what I was just talking about in terms of pricing intelligence. And hey, I want to go out and procure freight. I want to do an RFP, and we have an automation tool that's built into the TMS for procurement. It basically allows you to request a proposal, and from here you can see I've got RFPs that are in process, some that have closed, and some that I've yet to send out. What's nice about the procurement tool is it's found here under my company, under lane management. This is also where I would go to do my contracts. So all my contract rate management's here. All my carrier SLAs are recorded here. All my accessorial rates are recorded as part of my lane management. All of my fuel surcharge is all recorded under my lane management. And I could click on here and you can see the example that I was showing you. So I've got one that's needing to be closed. So I've got one that has closed and one that I need to send out. They each have 2 lanes that are associated with it. It could be 2 or 200 lanes. I can send this out by tag. So I want to send this to my LTL, my full truckload carriers. I can tag them similar to the tags that you saw in the shipments page. I can give it to discrete carriers. You can also see metrics around tender acceptance, on-time delivery, etc. And I can send this out. This one here I've already closed, so I have some rates that came back from my carriers. Based on this, it applied a routing guide, so that automation. So right from the RFP, the ability to award the carrier, have that flow back into contract rate management as well as into the routing guide. And you can also see market analysis or market information from that benchmarking perspective. So here's my highest, here's the average cost, here's the market rate, who or what was my lowest bid on that particular lane, and then to use that to really help drive some of that performance or some of that selection criteria. And again, where are we picking up, where are we delivering to? In this case, my preferred carrier has some previous bids. How many times have they had runs on that particular lane? What's their on-time performance? What's their tender acceptance rate? And what is their percentage of tracking as well? So what are we seeing in terms of the ability for that carrier to provide track and trace and status events and updates against loads that they're transacting for us? So again, that's the RFP. It's embedded as part of the tool. So from here, I'd like to move on and talk about some of the key features from an RFP, RFQ. One of the things that I really like is you can track the bids, responses, and then compare them to the market analysis. It's one central place to access, manage, and track all of the awarded capacity. And then, as I was mentioning, you can customize the award workflow, and you can automatically generate routing guides based on preferences. So, for example, the carrier pick and delivery performance, their tender acceptance rate, or other criteria, or the award percent of total. And it also allows you to show carrier performance at that lane level. So the ability to compare both price as well as performance, and then use that to determine the award. Lane insights, including past spend, current spend, the historical price volatility, as I was showing, tender rejection rate, and then also the ability to easily identify lanes where our current bid is out of the market range, again, using that ability to look at performance, market rate, and then the bid amount that's coming in. All right, so let's talk a little bit about mobility. I mentioned mobility, and I think this is a great differentiator for us. From a mobility perspective, remote forward workforce, we're not always at our desk, but we always want access to our TMS. The mobile platform allows you to really plan, execute, and handle exceptions from your phone. When you think about a mobile phone and mobile workflow, what's nice is that really it's the ability for you to log into the TMS or to log into your mobile device to see all the same information, the ability to build loads, transact loads, execute loads. In this case, I've got 4 shipments where the carrier is not assigned. I need to get a carrier on that particular shipment. So I can go in, I can view the actions, I can see the predicted market rate. I can then request bids, push it to a load board. I can tender it directly to a carrier, or I can push this out via a routing guide. So again, full supply chain visibility visibility, as well as the ability to execute loads from your mobile device, your iPad or a tablet. We also offer the same in terms of a driver application. So whether the driver's in the cab or out of the cab, the ability for us to receive updates and status, and also the ability for your carrier to accept tenders, status shipments, upload documents, direct message, as well as add accessorial fees. And if I look at this from a TMS perspective and I click into the driver application, one of the things that you can see is I'm still logged in the background as a shipper. So I'm logged in and I can see that I've tendered a shipment to the carrier. Carrier can let me know that, hey, I'm on the way. I've dispatched. I'm en route to the pickup location. They can see all of the historical shipments. They can see their active shipments. For the shipment that they're picking up, they can see the predicted route. They can see all the information, instructions, call when you arrive, stop flags, things like a lift gates required, access to the contact at the pick or delivery location. As I mentioned, geofencing, also the ability for drivers to enter their arrival and departure times. What I particularly like is carrier scorecarding and the collaboration, and also the ability from a collaboration perspective to allow my carrier to score their performance at a pick or drop location. Again, the ability for me to see all of that updated back inside the TMS. So as the carrier is updating the mobile app, it's also updating my TMS. Now I can see that it's gone from tender to accepted to in transit to delivered. Drivers also have access to the bill of lading, the ability to receive signature on bill of lading, the ability to call from their phone to the contact or to send a text message. So in this case, hi, hey, I've arrived. And then either on my mobile phone or back in the TMS, what I can do is say, oh great, the driver's arrived. Hey, go to dock door number 4. I can send them that message. So again, here the idea is that it's contactless driver check-in. So my drivers let me know that they've arrived, and then on their mobile device they can see that, hey, perfect, okay, go to dock door number 4, at which case they can now go back up. What's nice is that I can also alert them, let them know that, hey, loads or unload is complete, door is shut, trailer is sealed, bill of lading's been delivered to you electronically, and all of that information is passed. Okay, a few benefits from the platform perspective. Real-time access. I like the anytime, anywhere. I like the idea of contactless driver check-in. I particularly like the ability for drivers to upload documents, things like lumper receipts, etc. The traffic and weather overlays, the ability to reduce detention times, visibility into that, and the ability really to escalate and raise that customer experience and create customer delight. All right, the last thing that I had to cover today was around reporting and analytics. I will cover a quick little bit around integration and some of the things that we talked through today as well. But from a reporting and analytics, it's not just data, it's not just reporting, it's a business intelligence tool really designed to provide 4 types of categories of information and data: descriptive analytics, diagnostic analytics, predictive analytics, as well as prescriptive. Average cost per mile, average cost per pound, on-time pick, delivery performance, all of that delivered through a variety of dashboards. Each of these dashboards are interactive, so our users can go in and see the information. They can download just one of the tiles or widgets. They can download the entire page. I refer to this as sort of pool reporting, where I'm pooling reports. I can also push reports out by scheduling deliveries and have reports automatically distributed on a defined cadence. I could also go in and interact. I only want to see last week's, last month's data, refresh and re-index all of the different data widgets. We have a variety of different dashboards, as I mentioned. I can share these with all of my users or just one of my users. And again, things like carrier performance. What is our on-time pick, on-time delivery performance? What are the shipments by mode? What's our on-time running performance? And then also information around, again, tracking. What's our tracking performance? And I mentioned some of the things around tracking and having full integration, but tracking from a mobile app, ELD, EDI, API, LTL integration, manual tracking of calls, that automated resolution based on voice recognition, and then automated check calls going out. All of the information, late pickup, shipments without information, pickup and delivery location information, on-time running performance, shipments by mode, and again, the separation or bifurcation between pickup and a delivery. Okay, so that's the reporting, that's the analytics. Again, 4 different categories from a reporting and analytics perspective. All of this feeding back into the tool and utilized in the different areas from pricing intelligence all the way down to basic load planning. Last thing that I'm going to cover today, and then I'm going to close out, is just the fact that the integration is made easy. API forward, API first company, but can support multiple integration types. Includes orders and shipments coming in, planning, building the loads, tendering, providing accruals and statuses back, shipment status updates, shipment close, POD received, and settlement. We have a plugin for D365 through our partners with NMB. We have integration. We're also a NetSuite partner. We have integrations with Informatica, with NetSuite scripts that trigger an Informatica process for integration, as well as receiving information back into NetSuite, and then also SAP integration as well. We also partner with TriumphPay from a carrier pay perspective, as well as Intelligent Audit, and all of our API documentation is available at our website at docs.shipwell.com. All right, that was my 50 minutes. I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Take care.